Okay, so here we go. We're on our way to the first Toronto comic book show of 2018.
Yeah, first con. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, Mike, what do you think? What are you looking for today?
I'm just being a hippie and just loving everything, and I'm going to take home whatever loves me back.
So here we are heading along Wilson. What time did you say it is, Jose? Around
It's 20 after 10.
20 after
they've been
10.
open for about 20 minutes.
So we're almost there.
Almost there, ready to snatch the good deals before anybody else
We're at the
gets there.
hotel. Hopefully we'll find some parking, because this is always a problem every time we come here looking for parking.
There's also a Sunday sermon going on, which kind of packs the parking lot too.
Okay, we're
the hall
here
next
at the
to us.
park, way off in the back of the parking lot. But we did find a place. It's 10:25, so it's been on for about 25 minutes. We're very early. Good time to be here.
Some Betty and Me covers. Archie's always popular. We got some miscellaneous stuff. Beware. And got
That's
some
kind of
monster.
cool.
Yeah, there's an old show, Bewitched.
Dell.
Oh yeah, look at this. A Black Hawk number 27. Their mascot Chop Chop, about as unpolitically correct.
See that? You couldn't get away with that today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm looking for the Blackhawks, Lady Blackhawk stuff. Oh, some Charlton stuff. Blue Beetle, that's where it originally came out until Charlton went bankrupt and it was acquired by DC.
Yeah. Now, Mike, I don't know about you, but I can't think of a better way to start the 2018 comic book season than by going to the Toronto Comic Book Show.
Awesome, dude. When you dropped me off, I ran into the house with my books, locked the door behind me, shut the lights off, and looked through the blind. I was expecting to hear and see sirens and
So you're saying you went to the comic book show and you were stealing stuff?
killed it.
Killed it there.
Rocked it. It was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
A few more dealers were crammed in there.
Yeah.
And the price action was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and as most of you, I guess most of you already know, the Toronto Comic Book Show is a regular visitation for us. We try to go to almost every single one, I think.
We try. Yeah.
I think it's somewhere from 50 to 70 vendors, and they always have great prices, good selection, and we always end up coming home with some really great stuff.
Hey, great deals in the hallway too, even if you don't want to pay the $5.
Well, we're not going to do that.
Some books. I've got some nice books from them too.
Yeah, there's some great vendors there, even in the hallway as well. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
If you know your pricing, go for it.
Yeah. And I guess it was kind of nice seeing Phil there from Planet Hobby. You don't see him there that often.
I think it was, he said he started at Boxing Day, so it was his second show.
Yeah, yeah. And I got to be honest, it always makes me laugh whenever I see a copy of ROM Space Knight #1 with a $30 or $40 price tag, because...
$2 for $1, baby! $2 for $1
exactly.
Year ago, man.
A year or two ago, you couldn't have given that book away.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe 5 years ago, but still, we're dating ourselves. But still, yeah.
Yeah, but like, what's the old saying? A high tide floats all boats.
Oh, yeah.
And we're definitely in a hot comic book market, that's for sure. And a lot of books that wouldn't otherwise be getting the love are now starting to get some love.
Damn straight. And it's all due to that damn TV and movie industry, eh?
Cool. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so not going to waste any more time. I'm going to start off. This was my first acquisition of the Toronto Comic Book Show. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but in episode 78, a few episodes ago, Jose was going over one of his Dark Force covers, which showed the first appearance of Hicks and Who's the other guy?
Ridley, or was it?
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. There's two Space Marines. We were talking about the first appearance of aliens, the first appearance of Predator, and this is one of the books we discussed at that time. This is Dark Horse number 24 from November 1988. It's a nice Mark Nelson cover, and this is, as you can see on the front cover, the first appearance of aliens in comic books.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, there is some dispute about what would really be considered the first aliens. As we said in episode 78, the first, I guess, official appearance would probably be in that Heavy Metal magazine from 1979. It was a one-off special, kind of like an illustrated story of the Aliens movie. So, but as far as a comic book format goes, this, as far as we know, is considered the first appearance of the alien. So
in a comic, because that
exactly.
was a magazine, this is a comic.
Exactly.
Two
So
different formats.
yeah, so I was super happy about picking this up. First pick of the day, couldn't be happier.
Awesome.
Okay, next up we got Eagle-Eyed Mike with a really nice copy of Batman number 414. Now, didn't I see this somewhere before? Did we discuss this once?
We didn't. Well, basically in the 2016 episode of the Fan Expo,
Yeah?
Jose is showing a Jim Apparel Aquaman cover, and he has some really nice words to say about Jim Apparel.
Yeah, yeah.
You showed in your editing a picture of this,
Yeah, yeah.
but this is the real deal. Now I finally have it.
So, this
yeah.
is an apparel cover.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Apparel. So, I mean, first step into the that con, it was just crazy. Batcave was saying, buy 3 get 1 free. That's my free book.
Well, that's cool.
Killer. A lot of bats that week. So
I love the composition of the cover. Very moody, very dynamic, very scary, actually.
very scary. I like the Batman and the blade. It's just it's kind of action, and it's jarring. It's great. It's brilliant. So I give that a 9.4.
Oh, it's a near mint, but when you're buying books like in the 90s, you should be buying near mints.
It's worth about $6 on the room.
Yeah.
I'd say 15, $6 US, close to the price there.
Yeah.
But that was my free book.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. That's a good way to start the episode, Mike, with a relatively new book. Very nice pickup, especially considering you got it for free. Okay, so this next book I picked up, and I'm not going to save all these for Halloween because I pick them up pretty somewhat regularly. And you know me, Mike, when it comes to ghost books, you give me a nice near mint copy for $10, I'm there. You don't have to ask me twice.
I collect them too, and I'm jealous of this one, man. It's high grade, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so this is Ghost number 19 from October 1973. Picked up this book from the boys at Hagenland there at the old Toronto Comic Book Show there. And a really nice copy. It's got a nice Nick Cardy, Gaspar Saladino cover. You can't go wrong for $10. Come on. This book is what? Bordering on 46, 47 years old now, October 73.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they used to have cheapy bins that had copies of Ghost in them, but they were in much lower grades, heavily ticked and stuff like that. These are higher grade,
exactly,
well worth the money.
You're talking about the $2 and $5 bins where, you'd find a lot of ghosts with ticks, spine, some spine roll, between $2 and $5. I prefer to pick these up.
And you're talking 2 baggers all day long.
Because they're not that expensive anyways, you might as well try and pick them up in very high grade because it's not going to cost you that much more.
Nice low number.
So just to give you a quick rundown, again, not terribly expensive. These books won't cost you a lot to buy. In a 9.2, you're looking at about $24. In an 8, $21. In a 7.0 grade, about $13.50. And if you're going down to around the 6th grade there, you're probably looking at about $7.15. These prices are according to the comic book realm.
In U.S. dollars.
In U.S. dollars. So, again, I paid $10 for what I consider
a 2-bagger.
Oh, it's a near mint. I'd say it's a near mint. So,
you got a 2-bagger there.
No brainer. No brainer.
Another guy was by early. Action number 1, 12-cent cover.
Well, that's a nice cover.
That is a nice cover, man. Yeah, $65. That's not bad. That's a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh look, old Captain Marvel, 10 cents.
That's nice. Yeah, I like that.
Ooh, yeah. Look at that. I mean, I know it's a beater. Well, not that beat. But look at this, Paul.
I like those gold key covers.
Yeah, they're great painted covers, man, and that's a nice condition one.
I can't believe we're showing a $1 True Believer book, but never let it be said that Silver Age dudes won't show you a little bit of just about everything at one time or another. So Jose, what do you got here for us?
Well, without being elitist, and we're anything but egalitarian here. You know, we don't discuss the high-end books, expensive books. We focus on comic books in general about superheroes. So yeah. And this is to celebrate the August the 28th, that would have been Jack Kirby's 100th birthday. I only had the pleasure of knowing him through his work. So, therefore, the True Believers series. What an incredible volume of work and genres he created or co-created along his journey becoming the king of comics.
That's for sure.
Yeah, Marvel's releasing some of Kirby's greatest characters in easily affordable True Believer dollar comics. Yeah, that's of course to hopefully introduce the man to a whole new generation of Kirby fans. Now, I've managed to snag a few along the way. I think we both have maybe Amazing Spider-Man #1, and I also have Amazing Fantasy 15.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man #1 is the only one I've purchased so far.
Yeah, so here, first up here, I brought a couple here. This is True Believers Kirby 100th, introducing the Mighty Thor #1, reprinting the Thor story from Journey into Mystery, issue number 83, the first appearance, and also the Loki story from Journey into Mystery, issue number 85. The next one here we have is the second True Believers I brought along. This is of course, it wouldn't be Kirby without talking about his greatest creation, of course, with Joe Simon here. This is, of course, True Believers Kirby 100th, Captain America #1, reprinting Captain America Comics #1 from 1941.
So spectacular.
Yes, and the Captain American story from Tales of Suspense, issue 63. Now, it is truly a shame, of course, that one of his greatest creations is no longer being published. The Fantastic Four has been defeated, not by Galactus or Doctor Doom, but by the competing business interests of both Disney-owned Marvel and Rupert Murdoch-owned 20th Century Fox. Yeah, their continued snub to the fans is the major reason that I've personally largely turned my back on Marvel's new output. However, as in the halcyon days of the Silver Age, this too shall be continued. So let's get to the last book here. Here's Sandman #1. This is the sole DC Kirby tribute issue I picked up. I was a bit miffed, and why? That they chose other creators to cover Jack's creations with only a small addition of original material from the great man, and all for the bargain price of $4.99. Thanks, but no thanks. Go plan your next relaunch, DC.
Yeah.
Having said that, that's a nice pulp cover.
It is kind of cool. Yeah.
So, my advice to our viewers, go grab yourself some True Believers and turn into a wide-eyed 10-year-old kid again. Let's tip our hat to the genius that was Jack Kirby. What an incredible imagination and talent. Thank you, Jack Kirby. Hoi hoi and happy collecting.
Fantastic little run, yeah, and we've discussed Jack Kirby so many times in the past. Such a talented artist, such an iconic artist, and he's one of those artists that doesn't look like anyone else. When you see a Kirby cover, you know it's a Kirby. Okay, and Mike, of all the books you picked up at the Toronto Comic Book Show last weekend, I have to say this is probably, for me, the nicest cover, the nicest book you picked up. I just think this is simply spectacular.
Dude, first time I saw this, I went, oh. Everyone I showed it to, what was the first response? Oh. I mean, I've seen Sea Devils for sale throughout cons.
Yeah.
All over the place. Didn't know anything about it. But as soon as I get to the O cover, now I got to pick one up and learn a little bit about it. And now I got to share that with you guys. So, what do we know about the Sea Devils? Their first appearance was in Showcase 27 July and August 1960. They then showed up in Showcase number 29 November, December 1960. Then they got their own series in 1961. Which lasted about 35 issues up until 1967. This is old stuff, man.
Yeah.
So the team consists of leader Dane Dorrance, Biff Bailey, Judy Walter, who's Dane's girlfriend, and Nick Walton, who's Judy's younger brother. They were created by writer Robert Niter, who also has done work for Batman, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
And artist Russ Heath. They're a team of conventional, which means they're not super powered. Adventures, undersea adventure type guys. So that would be these guys here. That must be like the enemy or sea creature or mystic ghost or whatever. It's a beautiful cover.
To tell you the truth, until I saw the Sea Devils, I really
had no interest.
Well, I've seen them before, but I really don't know much about them either.
Well, same here. But I mean, this is why you buy a comic book, is because a cover has to draw you in, and then you want to find out.
And this certainly does.
And this sold it for me. I've never seen a 3 before. Until now, I think it's out of all 35 covers, I think that's the best one.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get down to the grade. It is what it is. It's about a 6.
6?
A fine book. It is a fine book. I mean, there's some ticks and stuff like that. I mean, there's some wear. There is some wear in some corners and stuff like that. So I'll be safe and say it's about a 6. I wouldn't go 7.
Because I got to be honest, Mike, I think it's a little bit lower. I mean, it's a beautiful book.
I've been grading everything tough. I've been grading. It may be a 6.5.
Maybe a 5. Again, I don't know.
You may be going the other way.
Anyway,
okay, fine.
But anyways, it's a nice looking book.
Okay, but anyway, so where am I here? Out of 6, let's just say it's a 6 for argument's sake, because the prices were so steep and low.
Yeah.
Paid $33.75 because it doesn't get love because it's not a superhero cover, I guess.
Yeah.
But the Realm has it at $127.50. Now you could argue that all day long.
Yeah.
But when you look at eBay for scarcer markets where they can't get their hands on it, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's the price according to the Realm. Well, that's a really spectacular pickup, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is my next pickup. And now, just like, I would consider this another one of those, more of a conversation piece than a collector piece. Painkiller Jane, #1. Now, truth be told, when Dynamite Comics came out with this book, I think they came out with like 4 different volumes of Painkiller Jane.
I've got a Painkiller Jane #1. I just don't know what volume it is. It's tucked away somewhere. They're very cool. Yeah, they're very cool, but suffice to say, they're not worth that much money. But I just like the cover because I'm a big fan of Kristanna Loken. Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen Terminator 1. And then followed up with Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Those are the 2 James Cameron classic films. But what gets lost a lot of time in the crowd is Terminator 3, which I thought and still think is an absolutely spectacular film. In this film, in Terminator 3, Kristanna Loken played the main Terminator, the bad girl, I guess, Terminator in it.
I have no problems with it. Great action. She did a great job in it.
Yeah, she did a great job. Directed by a lesser-known director named Jonathan Mostow. Not that he's totally unknown. He's done some other good films. Like I think he did U-257 as well. But he did Terminator 3, adhered strictly to the formula that had been successful the 2 previous times, and just built on that storyline and did a really spectacular job. And Kristanna Loken, playing the Terminatrix, did an excellent job playing in her role.
She's awesome.
And again, I had the opportunity to meet Kristanna a few years ago at the Fan Expo. Got a really nice autographed 8x10 picture of her. Spent a few minutes talking to her. Very friendly girl. She was actually there with her mother at the Fan Expo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got her to sign the autograph for me, talked to her a few minutes, and really nice person. And love the film. It's just one of those films that never got the credit I believe it deserved, and probably never will. But saw her on the cover. I just have to have this.
No, we watch it from time to time. It's excellent.
Okay, next up we got Eagle-Eyed Oog, and he's got a really nice copy. Wow, that's a really early Batman you got there, Mike.
Yeah, I think one of my oldest.
Yeah.
Could quite be.
What's that, number 179?
179, March 1966, second appearance of the Riddler in Silver Age.
In the Silver Age.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, it is a rough copy. It does have its tears.
Yeah.
It does have some wiggle on there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's got some writing. Had to do a lot of research. it helps the learning process of how to grade and when you're looking at a book.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I do come up with about a 3 as opposed to a 2.5.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen CGC 2.5s that have literally strips about that large missing out of it.
Yeah.
From CGC. Why do I give it a 3? It's because how beautiful it is on the inside. You
Yeah.
get a real 7 to 8 feel when you're reading the book on the inside.
So the pages are pretty white.
Damage, oh, very white. The damage is the cover, unfortunately. When you get into a 3.5 and lower, pen marks, stickers
Yeah.
don't really count.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Depending on the grade, it does.
Yeah. Well,
2 to 1
to be
points
honest,
depending,
anytime you're buying a Batman, trying to find a high grade Batman, just even a regular run book, they're expensive. So we're always going to be shopping within our price range. So I can't afford it, you can't afford it. So I mean, we're obviously, if you're going to be collecting the early Batmans, I mean, I know I'm not going to be buying the high grades. I just can't afford it.
Can't afford it. But nevertheless, okay, this was that dealer who was just slapping him down.
Yeah.
3 for 20, 3 for 20, and I wonder if that what got everyone else in a rouse and got us such great deals all day long.
Yeah.
Maybe he was the disruptor and everyone had to try to compete.
Yeah.
Because I paid, okay, which would be the equivalent of 15 US bucks. Now, if you give that a 3, that's still $46.75 US in that condition.
Okay.
You want to knock it down half a grade, call it 40.
Yeah.
It's still a 3 bag.
So you're basically saying you paid $15 for it, but if you look on the realm in a grade 3, this book is going to run you around 40 to 50. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, you got a good deal there. And to be honest, I looked at that guy, but I didn't really get a chance to look at him till the end of the day. And by that time, most of my money was gone.
Oh,
so
yeah, like first appearance of Beast.
Yeah,
He's had some of the big keys that I've had for just low prices. And he would clear the table and then reload it.
Cool.
Clear the table, reload it.
Yeah.
And dealers were dealing with him for higher end books.
Yeah.
So he could keep throwing those 20s out.
Cool. That is a fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Mixed stuff, man. That's why I'm looking at these stuff. Mixed stuff. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff.
Three for 60. Okay, and of course, there's a reason why I like to call him high-end Jose. I mean, compared to me, you're just blowing me away in some of the books you've been buying lately. And next, we've got some two really spectacular Silver Age keys you're going to show us. Ain't that right?
Yeah. For my middle segment, I'm showing some mid-price key Silver Age issues. So I'm going to start off with, of course, the Amazing Spider-Man number 46, which contains the first appearance and origin of the Shocker. Cover dated March 1967, copyright date December 8th, 1966. The Shocker finally made his on-screen debut in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. We both love that movie.
It was very well done, yeah.
Yes. Created by John Romita Sr. and Stan the Man Lee, Herman Schultz was a petty cook who had an engineering talent. He preferred to use that, of course, for criminal gain. He created his famous gauntlets that could produce blasts of air that vibrated at high frequencies to escape from prison. Now, extremely deadly, he also created a protective suit that could absorb the shock his gauntlets produced. Now, these shocks can crumble solid concrete and therefore can heavily damage the human body as well as organs. In the movie, 2 actors were assigned to the Shocker role. The 2 actors were Logan Marshall Green and Bokeem Woodbine. Now, spoiler alert here, Logan Marshall Green plays Jackson Bryce, who works for Adrian Toome's budding alien gun running business. Bryce is given a gauntlet to use on a run, but after a somewhat unsuccessful run, Toombs chides him for being so careless. Bryce isn't hearing it, but so Toombs cuts him loose. After Bryce threatens to expose his operation, Toombs vaporizes him. Though, to be fair, he thought it was only an anti-gravity gun.
Yeah, that was a good scene, though.
That was a good scene.
Yeah.
Now, that paves the way for Woodbine's Herman Schultz to take the gauntlet from that point forward in the movie. Now, along the way, someone jokes that he should have a nickname like the Shocker, but he actually doesn't go for that. So, 2 villains for the price of 1. Shocker's first appearance has been a bit of a hot comic, of course, and since last year, but who knows for how much longer, really.
Yeah.
The Shocker is the second Spidey villain that was co-created by John Romita Sr. to debut in The Amazing Spider-Man. And during his run, his next full appearance, of course, is in issue 72, a book I featured. Remember, with that spotlight with the stamp date on the arrival date on the middle?
I remember.
Yeah. Now, this issue also has Peter and Harry Osborn move into an apartment together and become roommates, furthering their relationship. Another step in the development of their growing friendship. Now, let's break it down for this one. It's a mid-grader, I would say. It's something between a 4 and a 5. If I'm being halfway about it, 4 or 5 VG plus, solid,
Yeah.
okay? The latest Over Street Guide, the 47th, has $46 US for a 4.0. So for a 4.5, maybe say an even 50. What's that in Canadian? A baby, about 65 bucks.
65 bucks.
Yeah, the comic book realm at a 4.5 grade, it's about $76.50 US. Again, both these books are from our local there, Retro Rare from Sandy. Shout out, pick up there. He had 75. He gave me a $10 discount, 65 Canadian paid, so about 50 bucks exactly on the mark.
That was very nice of him, eh?
Yeah, it's a one and done though. I don't see the Shocker being used anymore, the movies, but you never know. So let's get to the second book here. The second book here is also a Retro Rare pickup from Sandy. This is Tales of Suspense, issue number 75 from March of 1966.
Very nice.
Ah, yes. Double whammy, double key factor on this one. It's the first appearance of Sharon Carter, and of course also the first appearance of Batroc the Leaper. Now, we all remember Peggy Carter from the first Captain America, the first Avenger movie, right?
She's amazing, yeah.
Yes. Well, this issue plays an important role for the sequel. Sharon Carter and Batroc the Leaper were introduced in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and this is the issue that marks both their first appearances. Now, Sharon Carter, also known as Agent 13, was first introduced as Peggy Carter's sister and was changed to her niece in later issues. Actress Emily Van Camp, a local lass born in Port Perry, Ontario, was cast as SHIELD Agent 13, who was assigned to guard Steve Rogers without his knowledge. Of course, the second there, Georges St. Pierre, born in St. Isidore, Quebec, a fellow Canuck. Yeah, he's a former mixed martial artist. Apparently, he was a 3-time welterweight ultimate fighting champion, and he was, of course, perfectly cast as Georges Batroc, a mercenary and master of the French form of kickboxing known as sabate. Hip hip hooray, let's hear it for Canadian content in an American movie.
That's for sure, eh?
Now, despite their debuts to the silver screen, this key issue only had a mild surge of demand. Surprising. You can still get the Silver Age key pretty cheap. I don't expect the demand for this comic to ever really hit the stratosphere, but it is nevertheless, of course, a key issue. A double hitter there, double whammy. Copies, of course, above a 9.0 can command $275, $300 US and up. Okay, so interesting side note to this book. This issue also has a one-panel, unidentified, obscured memory image of Peggy Carter, Captain America's love interest from World War II. Would you call that a cameo first appearance? You decide, viewers. I'm not going to get into that debate.
I'm not going to decide. You figure it out for me.
Exactly. And lastly, this issue, of course, also holds the first appearance of Them, which will be the genesis of the criminal organization known as AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, the creators of that Mad Bad MODOK. Cool. Break it down to finally put up a cherry on this Sunday. Comic book realm at a 4.0, 45, at a 4.5, 51, at a 5.0, $57. Again, this book, I think if I remember correctly, I think he gave it to me for 40 bucks Canadian. Yeah, so about exactly paid, except maybe in Canadian funds. So again, I paid right on the money there. Just give a shout out to the people involved with this. Gentleman Gene Colan did the pencils for the cover art. Of course, the double whammy there. The King Kirby himself and Dick the Mick Ayers for the pencils in this book. And of course, script by Stan the Man Lee.
Yeah, and of course, you've just knocked another key off your list. So, yeah, your collection of keys, both major keys and minor keys, is becoming mighty impressive there, Jose. Mighty impressive.
Growing and growing.
Okay, fantastic, Jose. Thanks for bringing those ones in.
Hoy, hoy.
Okay, and you know me, I'm always a sucker for those gold key painted covers, and when I see them in high grade at a really good price, I can't help myself. I gotta pick it up. And this was a Hagenland pickup. Picked it up later on during the day, and as you can see, it's a Boris Karloff. It's actually issue number 37 from October 1971, and I just love that cover. Very dynamic, very energetic cover.
Great action, yeah.
And one of those gold key titles, it really doesn't get the love, doesn't really get the respect. I'm hoping that at some point people will start appreciating these books for what they are, because personally, I think a lot of the covers are much nicer than the Marvel books a lot of the time.
I like my
DCs.
Alex Ross covers myself.
Yeah, but Alex
Spidey.
Ross is a new dude. We're
Yeah,
talking about
but
this was done in the night. Can you imagine the money that Gold Key must have spent in the 60s hiring the artists to paint these covers?
Well, it says it's his estate
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
So, I mean, right there.
Yeah. And again, not that expensive. You can pick these up at a pretty low price. They're not going to cost you much. Just give you an idea of what these books are going to cost. I'm just going to give you the price according to the Realm in the 7, 8, 9, and 9.4 grades. You'd be looking at $13.20. That would be in the 7.0 grade. $20, $22.80, and $24. So again, like I said, even according to the Realm, these books are not expensive. But personally, me, I absolutely love them, and if I could get it for $10 in that grade, I'm not going to say no.
Dude, it's Fangoria. It's so awesome.
Cool. You know, Mike, I'm starting to think it was sort of like a Batman weekend for you at the Toronto Comic Book Show. Isn't this like the third Batman you've shown tonight?
Dude, I got like five. Seriously, five. It was a Batman weekend.
Wow.
I got like five
Cool.
Batmans.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I did. Yeah.
So what here we got? Oh, episode 199.
199 from February 1968. Does that look like it's from 1968? To me, it does not.
That's a nice looking book.
Damn, it's beautiful. You know, it's Nothing Key is only 4 single appearances. You know, it's your average. Again, the dealer who's just dropping on the table for $20 Canadian, which is 15 US.
Yeah.
What do we give that as a? That is a 93.50 in that grade. I give that about a 7.0. The biggest wooger, sorry, I hate the page. The biggest wooger is that.
Yeah.
The rest of it is perfect. Look how clean and bright that pops.
It's a nice looking book.
Very
entertaining cover too. Batman trying to get the last issue of his own comic book, and they're sold out. How bad would that be?
Oh my God! Well, and we've shown this book.
You are
love
correct.
Covers that have covers because I have that one. So I mean, even if you argued with me and said, that's not a 7, it's a 6.5 because of that one little thing.
Okay, give me the lowdown. What's it worth?
Still room. So I said at a 7.0 on the Realm. Worth about $93.50. You go on to eBay, you see prices coming in around that price too.
Yeah.
So outside of this big city,
The
it demands that price. It does.
Prices get up there, that's for sure.
This is an old book, man. It's almost as old as us, and it just doesn't look like it.
Fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Yes.
Now, we have to show this book, that's for sure. The new comic book segment, it definitely had to be this book. This is obviously the latest issue, or the February issue, of Supergirl, number 18, and this is the variant art germ cover.
Stanley Lau art germ.
Yeah, that is an absolutely spectacular cover, and as I guess we're all aware, as soon as these hit the stand, they're gone just like that.
Boom.
So, yeah, a lot of time, if you're not at the comic book store on the Wednesday morning when they come out,
we gotta thank our friend at Retro Rare. He knows what we like, and he puts these aside.
Sandy
for
puts
us.
away a copy of us each.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they sell out so quickly, and for good reason. Stanley Lau, I don't think there's very few artists, if any, in the modern age today that can do the Good Girl cover quite like Stanley Lau can. And this is a spectacular, kind of got a 50s, 60s feel
Very
of...
50s feel
Yeah.
to it, yeah.
You know, it's Supergirl. She's got her collar on with the halter top and the hot pants.
Chicago in the background.
You got the Chicago skyline in the back. It really is a spectacular. She's got that powerful, confident look. I mean, it really is just a spectacular cover. What we've come to expect from Stanley Lau.
It's what you look for in a cover.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple.
And you know, I can tell you, in 6 months you'll see this selling on Amazon or eBay for $20 or $30.
Easily.
Easy, yeah.
All of them do pop. It just takes a few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, this really just literally came out last Wednesday.
Last week.
So it's really
yeah,
a week.
Yeah. So a very spectacular cover. We pick them up when we can, and just like most of his other stuff, fantastic. This is no exception.
Yes, yes.
Okay, now Eagle-Eyed Oog is going to be bringing it home tonight for us. He got the last book of the evening, and I can't think of a better way to finish than with a really nice copy of Action Comics. What is that number?
339.
Wow, 330.
Let's talk about numbers for a second, because we are about officially 2 episodes away from Action Comics hitting a groundbreaking record of being the first book to ever hit
1,000 issues. Wow.
And of course, since it's my regular run, I'll be picking that up. But
yeah.
at the con, price action great. I'm running the other way, and this happens to be my oldest Action Comic book
That you've ever owned?
ever.
Very nice. What year?
This is from July 1966.
Mm-hmm.
This is Kurt Swan and George Klein cover. Beautiful.
Fantastic,
I like
yeah.
that. Supergirl's in a cage, baby. Oh, come on. How could you not love that? Okay. So, in these older books, there's always 2 stories. So, Molto versus the Man of Tomorrow was reprinted in Superman 248. That's how old this book is.
So this is the original story before it was
Yeah.
reprinted, yeah?
And Brainiac Blitz, which is the other story in this book, was reprinted in Superman Family. You see a lot of those books
Yeah.
at the con too. Superman Family 164.
Yeah.
What can I say? Price paid $33.75. Thank you very much, Hagenland, because the Realm has that at an 8.0.
Yeah.
Again, you want to argue a half grade, go ahead, because at an 8.0,
Corners look good. Yeah.
110.
Yeah.
My God, almost a 4-bagger right there. You know, insanely great prices. They just move books.
Well, I think part of the reason, especially in this day and age, where so many people are putting so much emphasis on keys, the run books have
Almost
not
get ignored.
almost get ignored, and you
And
can pick
that's
them up
just
at some really
silly.
spectacular prices. And I have a feeling that eventually this key, I don't think the key craze
People
will end,
have to learn.
but people will learn that these books are just as rare. And
What's
I
to
think,
say
yeah.
that one of the 2 stories here isn't picked up by
Yeah.
a TV show that's
Yeah.
already in run? Next thing you know, that is a key. That's
yeah.
That's how you do it. Then that's how you do it.
But it is a great book, Mike, and it's fantastic. I can't think of a better way to end the episode.
Ugh.
Now, yeah, wow, that was spectacular. So, guys, if you like what you saw, leave a comment. And I hope you like the footage we showed of the Toronto Comic Book Show. We love going there, taking a few, letting people see. So if you like what you saw, leave a comment. We love reading them. We'll always respond. And we will see you next time.
Hoi hoi.
Special guest Mike. Yes, yes.
It's hard to tell.